It's good to see you today. We're going to be thinking about Moses and Zipporah today. Our hymn is called The Wonderful Estate of Matrimony.
Full of wonder, full of art, full of wisdom, full of power, full of kindness, grace, and heart, full of comfort, flowing north, full of wonder, still I say, is love's chaste and gentle sway. Here grows up a prudent son, and a noble daughter there. One will be the other's crown, one the other's rest from care. Each will be the other's light, but from both 'tis hidden quite. Jacob flees from Esau's face, and he meeteth Rachel fair. Joseph in a foreign place serves and witnesseth not there. Moses did with Jethro stay, and bore Zipporah away. And when all is over, hear that the Lord designs in love for his faithful children dear. Taketh them to courts above, and with great delight in grace folds them in his warm embrace.
The Wonderful Estate of Matrimony, just thinking about the blessings of marriage. And so we left off yesterday, we left off yesterday talking about Moses and the uplifted arms, and you have that account. And we go on from there, and let's come on to chapter 18. It says, And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses, and for Israel his people, that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, with her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land, and the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, The God of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. Now he said to Moses, I, your father-in-law, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons with her. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down and kissed him, and they asked each other about their well-being, and they went into the tent. And Moses started informing Jethro, whom he had lived with for some 40 years, of all that the Lord had done, and how the Lord had defeated the Egyptians. And it's a wonderful account. And as we think about our hymn, The Wonderful Estate of Matrimony, it is a wonderful thing that it is just as the Lord spoke in the garden. It is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. And he who finds a wife finds a good thing. And Moses had run from Egypt, had fled, and had found a home in Midian. And there he was for 40 years. And while he was there, he was blessed to marry Zipporah. And it's a true blessing that in a world and in lives where sometimes we face great trouble, whatever that trouble is, it's wonderful to have a helper there to be a blessing to us, and we can be a blessing to them. We also think about he had children there, and children are an added blessing. You know, as Jethro comes and brings Zipporah and the sons with her. And you might think about what those sons were called. As, well, let me move it up a little bit. Gershom's name means I have been a stranger in a foreign land, and Eleazar's name means the God of my father was my help. And so their names are based on those thoughts, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And so with that, we think about the comfort that children can and should be. I'm sure Moses, when he fled, he felt all alone. He felt so lonely. Think about, our hymn referring to Joseph, who found Asnath and was blessed also with children in Egypt. How lonely Joseph must have felt? And yet eventually to have a wife and to have children. You could say the same thing with Jacob. How lonely he must have felt when he fled from Esau. And it's just a blessing to have a spouse, and it's a blessing to have children, and it's a blessing also to have godly counsel in your family. So Moses comes and Jethro meets him, and this is the account to read on where, all the people, it's like Moses, he's not alone anymore. He's got a whole lot of people with him. And so eventually you get to the account where Jethro gives him the counsel to appoint people to be judges effectively, who will judge these matters. And so when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people, and Jethro is going to give him some godly counsel and say, if God approves of this, you might start delegating. And that's exactly what happens. And so it's a blessing to be married. It's a blessing to have children. And it's a blessing to have godly counsel within families. The wonderful estate of matrimony. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our Daily Praise.